Hey, happy Tuesday. We are going to do a really incredible training for you today. So, whether you are live on Facebook or on YouTube, on LinkedIn, welcome. And I honor you for showing up for yourself today. There's so many times where we don't take the time to focus on developing and acquiring more skills, to focus on ourselves, to focus on learning more and growing. And I feel like even when somebody's talking and teaching, if you can find just like one little nugget, like that one thing that can help you, or that one aha there, maybe you heard of it before, but it finally resonated with you. It's going to be everything for you to get that next step, to get that next understanding, the next breakthrough that you might be even looking for. So go ahead and drop your industry in the group #live, or put your industry: insurance, high ticket, solar, B2B, B2C, B2G, door to door. Like, what do you do? What do you sell? And let's throw one else in. Like, what are you grateful for right now? What are you grateful for? Is it for your family? Is it for you, your hard work, your tenacity, you showing up? Like, how are you, grateful and proud of yourself right now? And what are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? And the reason why I'm asking is because you can't be upset and mad and grateful at the same time. It's physically impossible. So sometimes when we're working really hard, we're getting frustrated, we're getting annoyed, we feel like we feel like we're not doing good enough, we're hard on ourselves. And if we're in a state of gratitude, we can't think like that. So as we start in today, we're going to be talking about this beautiful thing called tonality, your tone. Now, I love talking about tonality because tonality was the one thing that was able to help me get from where I was making $15K a month to $35K a month. I think it was just a huge drastic change for me that I didn't have to work harder with. It just came naturally, and also felt better to me, felt better to my prospects, felt more natural, felt like I was having conversation. And the thing that has to go coincidentally with tonality is going to be self-control. And why do I say that? Because sometimes when you're talking to somebody, there's so many things that you want to say, or maybe you're thinking of like, what do I say with this objection? Or what do I do to overcome this? Or what are they thinking? And you're off in your own little world. Or maybe you start going down a rabbit trail that leads nowhere. And with self-control, you can learn how to hold space, actively listen, and use the appropriate language at the right time, and know what tone to use, because there's different tones that you can use in a sales conversation. So we are going to jump straight in here. The first thing here is just establishing, how tonality is going to affect you in sales. With someone's tone, you perceive them in a certain way, right? Like if your parents ever called you by your first and last name, mine was all three, my middle name too, Kaylan Hodges, like if I knew that came out, I did something bad, right? There was a tone in her voice. Like something was going on, and I could tell by that tone whether or not like I was in trouble. And tonality can elicit certain types of emotions in people. And it's really important to know this because people buy based off of emotions and not logic. So if I can learn how to elicit certain type of tones that will bring out different emotions, it's only going to help me be more strategic in my ability to help somebody learn how to persuade themselves, to help somebody have a realization of what's going on in their world. My favorite tone is a good night moon tone. And my mom, when I was a little girl, she used to read me this book called Good Night Moon. And she would whisper in the book, "Good night, moon. Good night, stars. Good night, cow jumping over the moon." And in the book, there was a little old lady whispering, "Hush." Right? And I love this tone. This tone is like my concerned bedtime story, motherly tone. And I get into this tone whenever I'm talking to somebody about something that might feel a little uncomfortable. And the reason why is because it is easier for you to talk to me about uncomfortable things if I feel like a safe place for you to do so. What are the biggest mistakes that people make in sales calls regarding their tone? The first one is speaking way too fast. And I don't know about you, but I definitely have done this by a show of me's in the chat. If you have also spoken way too fast in a sales call, please drop me, because I know that I'm not alone in speaking way too fast on sales calls and fast in general to anybody. In fact, I've had so many people in my life tell me that I'm mumbling. Maybe I do it now because I talk so fast. My brain works so fast that a lot of words come out at once. And that is not going to be helpful for me on a sales call, because the sale is not about me. It's about the person in front of me. And I have to be able to have enough self-control to slow down so that I can have a normal conversation and the person isn't thinking in their head, what is that girl saying? They're thinking about what their answers are, which is only going to help you, because them saying the answers to you and out loud also allows them to hear their own answers, which allows them to start persuading themselves more. Secondly, is it sounding overly enthusiastic or overly unenthusiastic, right? If you're like, oh, okay, really? Okay, well, what do you feel like this is doing to you, blah, blah, blah. And you're like super monotone and like awkward. Yeah, it's going to sound weird. Or if I'm like, oh my God, so nice to meet you. How are you doing today? Well, can you tell me, like, what are the goals that you want to experience this year? I sound disingenuous, inauthentic, like overly enthusiastic. It's not going to work. Authenticity is like your very best attribute to who you are. You being yourself. It should feel like a normal conversation. The other day, I had somebody on a call that I was with and was like, this, you know what I like? I like that it's so easy to talk to you. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, that's so sad that she hasn't had the experience of just having a normal conversation talking to somebody, because it always should feel like that. It shouldn't feel awkward to the prospect. It shouldn't feel awkward to you. Like, it just should flow. And by using different tonalities, by slowing down, your conversation can feel more genuine. Or, if you're not varying your tone in certain situations, there's times where maybe I want to be cool, calm, and collected. There's times where I want to have a challenging tone, especially like at the end of a call. Like if somebody is not, willing, to get uncomfortable, I might say, hey, Sally, look, my concern here is that you've been feeling like this for the past 2 years. Like, is this something that you actually want? I'm challenging her to step forth. I'm challenging her to think differently about the situation. Maybe I want to be concerned. Like, look, my concern here. Would you really want to do this if you didn't have to? Would you really want to experience this if you didn't have to? Right? Concern. Maybe sometimes like I want to just have a normal conversation tone. Like there's different tones that you can use at different times. You staying monotone for the whole entire call can make it maybe a little bit boring. So you don't want to do that. Secondly, you have to be a really good active listener, because not only are you listening for your tone, but you need to be listening for your prospect's tone. If they say something and maybe it goes a little high pitched, or maybe it sounds a little awkward, or maybe they get a little anger in their voice or frustrated, you have to be listening to that tone, because it gives you tells as to what's going on in the conversation. Let's say somebody's talking about something and they're like, yeah, I really haven't been able to spend time with my son, this past week. And I saw that they looked down. I saw that they felt like distressed in their voice. I can maybe say something like, Sally, it seems like this is really upsetting you. What did I do? I'm actively listening. I'm paying attention. I'm, asking her, what's coming up for her in a way where I'm acknowledging a tone that was happening. And she's like, yeah, like this is really, really hard on me. Hard on you? Yeah, this and this and this. And she keeps elaborating, because I'm mirroring back to her and I'm framing her as to what's going on. Your ability to pick up on the small nuances will change everything for you, because it's like you have your like spidey senses on. It allows you to be in a position where you are understanding your prospect more. When you can pick up on their tone, when you can pick up on their body language, pick up on their energy. Like you as a woman have these natural instincts already. Like, can't you tell when a man is lying? Right? If you've ever been with a guy that lied a lot, maybe you can tell. Maybe you're like, hey, like something's off here. Or like when your kid's lying to you, ooh, When your kid's off, right, you can tell when something's going on. It's like, what happened at school today? Nothing. Like, something happened. You just have to get it out of them, right? So it's just like, what can you do to help you drop into a place that's safe enough for them to be willing to open up to you? And that's all going to be through your tone, all going to be through your ability to be observant, to have active listening, to have good body language, identification skills, to be, and present in the conversation. Like, that's going to be it. You have to be present. Listening to your client's tone is only going to adapt, the sales conversation for you. It's going to help you understand. There's also different tones for different phases of the sales call. So I mentioned a few different phases, right? I mentioned a few different tones. A really good way to have a concern tone is like in problem finding. And problem finding, when I'm talking about pain, it's not going to do me any good if I challenge the pain, if I have like a authoritative voice. I need to be concerned. I need to be there for them. Sally, do you feel like this is impacting you personally? I'm here for her. I'm like dropping in that. When I'm talking about solution awareness, like I like being a little bit more excited, talking about where they want to go. Oh my gosh, I want to go on a trip with my family. May I ask, where would you go? Yeah, we would go to Italy. My God. Yes. Okay. And what would you do first in Italy? We would have spaghetti. Okay. And you having the spaghetti, is it nighttime? And is it the morning? It's nighttime. Are you with somebody, with my significant other? Okay. So like you sitting next to each other, you looking at each other. Like I'm almost like, that's like my one time where I feel like it's okay to be like happy about what they want, because you have to believe in their capability to have that. Believe in that they can achieve whatever it is that they're putting their mind to. And I like getting excited for them. And then I can come straight out of that and go into consequent questions and be like, look, my concern is like, have you even considered the possible ramifications if you don't do anything about your situation? Do anything about XYZ so that you can. Have you considered the possible ramifications, like if you don't like acquire the right skills so that you actually can take your family to Italy in the next year or so? Well, no. Right? So there's different tones that I'm using throughout the conversation. And mastering tonality is all going to be about practice. Practice. Because perception is reality. That's why you should always be listening to your sales calls. You should always be observing yourself, always being like, hey, what am I doing? What am I not doing? And try to allow yourself to grow by observing, by correcting. Because if your tone sounds all over the place, or if you're talking too fast, like your prospect is picking up on that on a subconscious level too. It makes them feel uncomfortable. And also, the power of empathy. If you care about the person in front of you, it's easier for you to guide your tonality. If you really care about what they're going through, you can have more compassion, you can have more empathy, you can have more concern for what they're going through. If you don't care, it's really hard to have that concern. If I'm talking to them about possible consequences, like I want them to feel the consequences if they don't change today. And I care enough about this prospect where I don't want them to experience life if they don't change. You caring about people, your empathy, and women, we naturally are empathic. People can feel if you're being genuine or not. People can feel if you're there for the sale or if you're there for them. They can feel it. Especially as ladies, we're super intuitive. We can feel what's going on. And regardless if it's your intention or not, sometimes the perception of you, because of your tone, because of your body language, because of the questions that you're asking, feels to the prospect that you don't care about them, that you're not empathic, that you are not genuine, that you're being disingenuine and inauthentic, even though you're trying the best that you can. The only way to really see whether or not you are doing a great job of your tonality is by watching yourself and seeing how the prospect reacts to what you're saying. Really being there for them, holding space for them, getting feedback from somebody that has, experience in sales, that is willing to train you and believe in you, like even from our team, us giving you feedback on a sales call, like it's going to be really, really important for you. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but it's going to be the only way that you have an extra pair of eyes on you so that you can see how to get to another level. So evaluating yourself, getting feedback from others, care about the person in front of you. You really have an opportunity to change and make a difference in someone's life. I fully believe that sales is all about serving. You're not selling someone a policy, you're giving them an opportunity to be financially protected in case, heaven forbid, something happens to their family. You're selling what the thing does. You're not, selling a online FBA store. You're giving an opportunity for somebody to be able to make passive income at their job. You're not selling a car. You're giving a parent, a safer car for their kids when they're driving. It's whatever this thing is doing for them. Sales is all about service. And if you can just drop your ego and drop you for a second, drop how you're thinking of you and, oh my God, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing it right? Feeling not confident, feeling like, you don't have it all together. Like if you just drop like what to say, what not to say, just drop all that out the window and allow yourself to be present with the person in front of you and actually really care about them getting the results. If you care enough about them, you will acquire higher skills, because the higher skills that you have, the more ability that you have to control yourself, to control your tone, control the way you're coming across, control, what you're saying, the easier it is going to be for them to feel relaxed around you and feel like you're on the same team. The easier it's going to be for them to start persuading themselves. You don't have to do that much work if you know how to control yourself. If you learn these skills, you can have all the best intention in the world and the wrong skills, and every day you're not closing. Every day these people are, falling through your fingers because you don't have the skills in place to be able to convey what you're trying to convey. With the right skills, using the right questions with the right tone and practicing the right tone, mastering this, like that is what's going to set you apart from anyone else. It's going to absolutely set you apart. So I wanted to, make sure that I am giving you guys an opportunity to role play with our team. So we do have ability to role play with our amazing team. Let me see. I'm going to put this. If you want to, learn how to implement, today's training in your industry, so that we can make you sure that you're on track to doubling your deals this quarter. We're in the third quarter right now. I'm going to put this link here in the chat for you. Oh, it's not letting me do it. All right, my team, make sure you put a link in the chat, for them if they want to hop on a call, or just DM me role play if you're wanting to hop on a call with myself or our team, 10, 15 minutes just to hear, how you're talking. Let's listen to your tone and see how you're doing. If you're talking too fast, if you just sound monotone, if you sound all over the place, that way we can actually give you some feedback and some tips and see if we actually can support you. And if it looks like we can have a further conversation. And if not, I'm happy to always point you in the right direction or recommend somebody that can help you a little bit better. Like the other day, I had somebody get on a call with me that wasn't ready for sales training yet. They were at a place where they were selling just through ads. So we don't focus on ads, teaching ads like we do our own, but we don't focus on teaching you how to make money from ads. So I directed her into a different direction, right? So we're here to support you and honor you. You get to get outside of your comfort zone, get on a call and actually execute so that we can give you feedback, but you're never going to be able to get the help and the growth that you're wanting until you do that. So I honor you. Thank you for showing up today. Make sure that you are DMing me role play or commenting role play so that we can get on a call with you. And we love you. We appreciate you. See you super soon. And I hope that you have an amazing Tuesday.